I mean, you talk about theme songs, you talk about the Burning Hammer podcast and the Burning Hammer Live. We got the best theme songs in all of podcasting, and more specifically, potentially, professional wrestling. So, welcome to the Burning Hammer Live. This is the live stream for the Burning Hammer podcast. We go live every Monday and Friday at 11-ish Eastern Standard Time to talk about the wrestling shows that are happening on that night. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and to your right, that's your other host, Dillon O'Brien. Dillon, how are you doing today?
Doing all right, got some excited to be back on here, talk some wrestling with you, talk some current wrestling. A lot going on, busy week, but of course, always got time to hop on here and talk to you, Mark, about some wrestling and talk to the Burning Hammer faithful.
And before we dive into this episode, make sure to listen to the Burning Hammer podcast. It's a professional wrestling based podcast where we talk all things professional wrestling. You can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Plus, you can watch it on YouTube at the Burning Hammer. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media. On Twitter, we are at The Burnt Hammer. On Twitch, we are at The Burning Hammer Podcast. And we are at The Burning Hammer on everything else. Plus, me and Dillon write professional wrestling for Vendetta Sports Media. So make sure to follow them on Twitter at Vendetta VSM and everything else at Vendetta Sports Media. And check out vendettasportsmedia.com for all of your sports needs, plus TV, movies, gaming, you name it, they cover it. Head over to vendettasportsmedia.com. With that being said, Dillon, we've got a nice little episode of SmackDown coming in here, so I think we're going to get started with some rumors. And there's rumors that LA Knight is not going to be the guy to win Money in the Bank. So what are your thoughts? Do you believe these claims, these rumors, these loose reports? What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so like I said, I wrote a piece yesterday about a rumor that LA Knight may be potentially out as the guy who is winning Money in the Bank. I mean, first and foremost, if that is true, it's going to be a huge bummer, huge disappointment for pretty much everybody involved, for LA Knight and also the fans. LA Knight is definitely the fan favorite going into the match, and I would say he's definitely got the most people pulling for him to come out on top. With that being said, we don't know who the last participant is yet, right?
Right.
So
I think we're assuming it's going to be someone from Raw, because right now there's going to be 3 people from SmackDown and we only have 2 people
yeah.
from Raw.
So if it's not, it's just we'll see what ends up happening, but I mean, everything screams you got to put it on LA Knight. And if they go an opposite direction, I think it might not be the right call, to be completely honest with you. Oh shit.
Right. So I will say this: I don't buy the reports. I don't buy the rumors that LA Knight's not going to win. And they said the reasoning is that they don't want him to get cheered when he wins Money in the Bank because he's supposed to be a heel. I think right now he's already established himself as a tweener. And so I don't think that's a problem at all. And I think if they want to have him come off as a heel, you've got like 3 or 4 weeks until Money in the Bank. So you can easily have him do things that will get him booed, like on Friday Night SmackDown. Like,
Also,
it's not that hard.
Just fucking let him get cheered. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
They did it for Roman a couple of months ago. Everyone was cheering Roman, and they didn't, like, no one freaked out. And it's like, it's similar to what happened with Seth. Like, these things happen. People respect these heels that are putting on or that are doing really good work. So I don't think it's a big deal at all. And I don't really believe it. And
he's still my pick to win, I would say,
also
if that makes
my pick. The only person who I can realistically see win, I guess there's two people. One is Drew McIntyre if he's in the match. And then the second person could be Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Those are the only two people. And I think if it's not going to be LA Knight, it's going to be the final person who's going to qualify for the match. And I think there's a specific reason that they haven't done that one yet, and that's going to be the final person to qualify for the match. And I think it's probably going to be Logan Paul, because I think we're going to get Gunther versus Drew at Money in the Bank.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely wouldn't shock me if Logan Paul ended up being in the match. And listen, to be completely honest with you, I'm not necessarily against Logan Paul winning a Money in the Bank briefcase. Just not this year. This year, it has to go to LA Knight. Like, if you want to do the Logan Paul thing, you can do it later. You got time for that. You don't need to do that right now. Not when you have.
Whoa. You'd be fine, because they're gonna need to get a few successful cash-ins.
No, okay. This is what I said. I'd be fine. I wouldn't be fine with him as WWE champion. I'd be fine with him as a run with the briefcase. But not right now. Like further down the line. Specifically being that we haven't had a proper briefcase run in multiple years, like the last two, I think, right? Where, I mean, Theory was a briefcase run, but it sucked. And
we haven't had a good one in a while, and we've had...
I totally understand. I think it would be good for business to have Logan Paul be Mr. Money in the Bank at some point. But just not this year, when you have such an obvious, the man they call the megastar, LA Knight. Yeah. When he's staring you right in the face as, your next top guy, one of your next top stars. There's no reason to overthink it.
So, do you think if Logan Paul wins the Money in the Bank briefcase in the next few years, do you think he's going to successfully cash it in?
Maybe. I don't know. That's why he can't win this one. Because this one has to be a successful cash-in.
That's the other thing. That's I think the most important thing that people need to remember is whoever wins this Money in the Bank match is going to be a world champion, because they're going to have a successful cash-in. So that's why it's okay, yes, there's a chance Logan can win, but I don't think he's going to win it this year. Yes, there's a chance that Drew could win, but I don't think they're going to put the title on Drew. I think LA Knight is absolutely the person that you need to have win the Money in the Bank ladder match. Yeah, because, like you said, we need a long run with the briefcase. We need a good run with the briefcase. And like we talked about on the newest episode of the podcast that's going to come out next week, just a little sneak peek into that, me and Dillon ranked the top 5 greatest Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time. And one of the things that he talked about with one of the cash-ins is that they had a really good run before the Money in the Bank match. They had a good run with after they won the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then after they cashed in, they had a good run. So they had a good run from start to finish, and right now, you've got a good run with LA Knight before winning the briefcase. You give him a good run after he wins the briefcase, and you give him an even better run once he's world champion. Yeah! So LA Knight is obviously still the person who's going to win. I don't buy these rumors at all. I'm very confident that LA Knight is going to win the damn match, and I will put my mortgage on it.
Love to hear it, Mark, because that's who I'm pulling for.
I think we're all pulling for him. So let's go into some more Money in the Bank qualifying matches. We have 4 on this episode of SmackDown. So to kick us off, we're going to stay on the men's side of things. Butch is taking on Baron Corbin. It looks like Corbin's going back to his lone wolf gimmick, or at least when he's down in NXT. He recently just appeared in NXT, I believe, 2 weeks ago, and he's facing Butch to see if he can weasel his way into the Money in the Bank ladder match. Dillon, who do you think is going to come out on top in this match?
Giving it to Butch.
Agreed. I think
this is going to be the start of his singles stuff.
Yeah, hopefully this start of us just calling him Pete Dunne.
Yeah,
So I
agreed.
agree, and I think that it's mostly just because Baron Corbin's sort of in a thing in NXT for the time being, so I don't think he's going to win. And then speaking of someone who's in a thing in NXT, Mustafa Ali is taking on Santos Escobar to qualify. Honestly, I would love for both of these guys to be in the match. That's not how things work. I know we talked about it before, but there's a lot of these matches I would have been happy with both people being in the match. I think that Escobar is going to come out on top and qualify. Dill, who do you think is going to win this one?
I actually think it's gonna be Ali, but I like you said. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it does make more sense to have Santos in it. I'd be completely fine with either of them though.
Yeah, I do. It's a shame. They both deserve to be in the match.
Yeah,
And
honestly,
like, I would love to see them both in the match. I just
they
think
should just make it an 8-man match again. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, so I think that Escobar is going to come out on top because they're pretty high on Escobar, and I think he's due to get a nice singles push. And like I said, the same thing with Corbin. Ali's sort of tied up in some things in NXT as well. So yeah, I think Escobar is going to come out on top. And then there's going to be one more person to qualify on the men's side of things. It's probably going to come from Raw, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm assuming they're going to do it on Monday Night Raw this next episode. If not, I think it would be weird to do them all within like a 2-week span and then have the final person be delayed this much, unless it's Randy.
Unless it was gonna be something like relatively major.
Yeah. So
I hear
yeah,
you, man. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Randy?
I mean, Randy could be a choice, but
Hey, nothing you can say. What about, I don't know, Cody still, maybe, somehow?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. If the reports are true, he could not. If there's not going to be face Brock at Money in the Bank, then I guess that would leave him free for Money in the Bank. So maybe that's why they want to do it. Not do Brock versus Cody at Money in the Bank because they want Cody in the match. I guess that's still a possibility.
Yeah,
So,
totally. I think so.
yeah,
So
that's definitely up there as something that could happen. Let's move on to the women's side. Bayley's taking on Mishin. Who do you think's gonna come out on top? Who do you think's winning?
I got Bailey.
Agreed. And Io Sky.
I think
versus
Bailey
Shotzi.
and Io's got to win. It's got to be Io and Bailey both have to be in the match. I think.
Agreed. I think it's interesting what they did with the women's because we went live for Raw and both Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark qualified for the match. What are your thoughts about Becky Lynch qualifying for this match? I know she was getting some hate and people didn't really like the decision on Twitter following Monday Night Raw. What are your thoughts about her qualifying for the match?
People are saying she doesn't need to be in the match, basically.
Yeah. That's the gist of it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't blame her though. It's like that's not on her. That's just
So
I would have honestly really liked to have Sonya in the match instead of Becky.
Yeah, my thing.
I think it hurt that they put her up against Sonya because Sonya is, in my opinion, like an underrated, kind of like not independent wrestling, like internet wrestling, like darling almost. Like she's like the internet wrestling community is definitely, very supportive of Sonya Deville, I'd say, for the most part. So that definitely didn't help.
Yeah, I think that. So my issue, I'm not mad that she's in the match per se. I'm mad that they're not doing Becky versus Trish at Money in the Bank. Because like they're gonna do it again at SummerSlam, I'm assuming, but then it's gonna be 1-1 unless Trish just wins the feud. But like they're probably gonna have 3 matches, and it just seems like everything lined up perfectly to have them do it at Night of Champions, Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam as the rubber match. So
Yeah, but it seems like we're gonna have Zoe and Becky, and that'll be like, and Trish will obviously get involved in this match. Um,
yeah, what do you
so
what do you think if they pivot more towards Becky versus Zoe instead of Becky versus Trish?
I
With
mean,
like
it'd be
Trish,
much.
like
No, I don't hate that at all. Um, like Trish taking on like a more managerial role, like leader
yeah,
of a little bit of a heel faction type role.
like
Um,
because I could see Trish just like Becky wanting a rematch and Trish being like, I already beat you, like I don't like we're not gonna wrestle, and then have her
yeah,
start a thing with Zoe Stark is something I could see happening.
yeah, I could see that happening as well. I could see it somehow leading to like Becky and Lita versus Trish and Zoe.
Unless that's what they're gonna do at SummerSlam, which could
Yeah.
happen. Which I guess now it seems like that may be the thing that makes the most sense for them. So, do you think who do you think's going to be the final woman to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match? Because right now it's Becky Lynch, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, and then we have two that are going to qualify, probably Io and Bailey, and then that leaves one more spot.
And then will that last spot be from Raw?
Um, let me see. One, two. Yep.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think there's a decent chance Raquel's in the match. Um, Raquel
Yeah.
finds her way in
Probably.
there. Because for some reason, I feel like Rhea's not going to defend her title
When? Money in the Bank?
at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I don't think she will. So,
Um, so I think we're gonna get
because I agree, because I think we're going to get Raquel versus Rhea at SummerSlam.
yeah, at some point. I don't think Raquel's gonna win Money in the Bank, but I think she should be in the match. I think she'd be. It makes sense to have her be the last competitor, and
I think there's a good chance she could win the match if she's in Money in the Bank.
no, I think there's a decent chance. I'd say she'd be like the second favorite behind EO probably. Um,
Because I could
but she
see,
doesn't have to.
yeah, and you could probably make the argument that Io doesn't have to win it either to challenge Asuka, just because they already have a little bit of a history. But I could see them having Raquel win, and then Raquel being the first woman to call her shot instead of like running down and just being like, I want you at SummerSlam.
Gotcha.
But the issue with that is I don't know if they're going to want Rhea to drop the title so soon after winning it, and then I don't think they're going to want
Definitely
Raquel
not, bro. I don't think
Raquel that
I don't
much.
think Rhea's dropping that title for a long time.
I agreed.
I
Which
think
is
Rhea's
good.
holding. No, I agree. I think she might hold it until WrestleMania 41. Like I think she
Holy
might
shit.
break, bro. I think she might break Bianca's record.
She could. It wouldn't surprise me. They're pretty high on her, and
She's
it's
only like 25. It's not like she's like.
I know that's the crazy thing. Like she's still so young, and like a lot of the women on the roster are super young as well. I could see Candice LeRae being the final entrant, the final woman to
Yeah,
qualify for Money in the Bank. She had a nice little video package, which they've been doing more recently, which I like. They had one for her. They've had it for Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Alba Fire, and Ilya Isla Dawn.
Isla
Um,
Dawn.
Isla Dawn, thank you. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure they'll probably do it on Monday Night Raw for both the final two qualifying matches. But let's move on, because we've got something important happening on this episode of SmackDown. Paul Heyman appeared on Monday Night Raw via video, and he basically said Jey Uso is going to pick his side on Friday Night SmackDown. So is he going to go with his brother, Jimmy Uso, or is he going to go with his other brother, Solo Sikoa? Dillon, lay down for me. What do you think's going to happen with this segment?
He's not turning on Jimmy, bro.
Agreed.
Not a chance that motherfucker turns on Jimmy, bro. I swear to God. If he turns on Jimmy, that would honestly might be one of the craziest swerves. And
Yeah.
truly, but it would be one of the craziest swerves because in my head, it also wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know where they would really go from there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it wouldn't. I just don't know where they would go from there. So it's got to be Jay
Yeah.
choosing to side with Jimmy, bro. That's his twin, man, and he's gonna say, "I got you, I got you, I got you, Oos, I got you."
Do you think so? I think we're gonna get Jimmy.
We the ones now.
Jimmy,
not him. We the ones.
And Roman and Solo at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that seems like where we're headed.
So, do you think? I think there's a chance Jay could pin Roman at Money in the Bank.
Wow, that would be nuts, bro.
And
needs to happen.
I think that at Money in the Bank, in that match, you could get Jay pinning Roman, then Roman freaking out on Solo, and then Solo turns on Roman and potentially join his brothers. And then Roman's on the island of relevancy by himself. But so there's like a lot of things that could happen. That's what I think is so special about this storyline. Like,
bro, it's just awesome.
It's like every time you think it's coming to an end, like, right, like it feels like we're coming to an end, but it also, this could go on for months upon months. And so
yeah,
I'm excited for it. I'm super excited.
My big thing with it is I just don't really see how Roman makes it through another title defense. The next time he defends the title, how does he make it through that? Like, storyline wise, it's like, when do you have him lose? You have him lose when he doesn't have the bloodline anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
so what I could see happening is that there's a few options that they could do for SummerSlam for Roman. So I think this is his next title defense could be Jimmy Uso. It could be Jey Uso.
Yeah, if they go that direction, then he doesn't necessarily have to lose, as long as Solo does. But once Solo turns, essentially, it's like once the bloodline's done, he's got to lose the title, essentially, is what I'm saying.
So I think he's not going to have another successful title defense against someone not in the bloodline.
Okay, I think that's I think that's fair.
Because I think we're gonna get him. I think we could get him versus Jimmy, and then him versus Jay, and then him versus Solo, back to back to back to back.
What are the odds that one of the members of the bloodline is the one to dethrone Roman?
I think there's a good chance it's Solo. I think if it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Solo.
I kind of agree that it would be Solo. I don't know though, bro. What about Jay?
I don't think it's gonna be Jay. As much as I would love to see it, I just think they're gonna put Roman.
No, I tend to agree.
They're gonna put Heyman with Solo. If that's happen, if they're gonna have someone from the bloodline dethrone Roman, it's gonna be Solo, and it's gonna be Heyman aligning himself with Solo Sikoa. So that's how I think they're gonna do it. If that's the way they go, I still think Cody's the next person. I just don't know when that's gonna be. Now, so I think there's a good chance we don't get Roman defending the title against someone outside of the bloodline for a few months.
Yeah,
maybe till like the fall.
I tend to agree. Bro, he might hold the title till 40.
I mean,
there's a very good chance.
And well, yeah, I mean, especially now that they've got the second world title on Raw, so who knows? I mean, I don't know what the exact.
Bro, maybe it was all in person. Like, maybe this was all for a reason. Also, me and you could be there live in person in the great city of Philadelphia to see Cody Rhodes finish his story, or to see Gunther win his first world title,
or to see LA Knight cash in
Yeah.
to win
Or
this
it's like,
title.
or all of it. It's like maybe this was all part of destiny. So me and you could be there in person, WrestleMania 40 in the great city of Philadelphia, to see the most crazy, dominant, historic championship reign of our entire lives and probably that we'll ever see. There's a very good chance that we're there in person when it comes to an end.
Yeah. And
And
it's crazy because I'm gonna have to look at like the exact dates to see like where that would put Roman all time. Um, because I think he would get to
he would pass Hogan.
he would probably get to like second or third.
I think he would get to
So
third. He would pass Hogan for sure, I think.
yeah.
Hogan was for some reason, I don't know why I know this off the top of my head. There's a very good chance that it's wrong, but for some reason I feel like Hogan held it for 1,174 days.
I thought
I might
Hogan
have
was in like 1,200 range, I believe, or
Hulk
that might have been Pedro Morales.
Hogan
Look up the top 5 longest
title.
WWE titles reigns.
1,000, dude. Wow, I think I was right. I don't know. 1,474 days. Is that what I said?
No,
What did I say?
you said 1,147.
All right. Well, 470. That's not that good. What? The numbers are all the same.
I mean, you're 300 days off.
Yeah, but I was thinking less about the quantity and more about the numbers, the
Oh,
combination.
like that.
I guess that is true.
Oh man! Wow, I didn't know he held it for that long. I thought he was less than that. So wait, that's second or third all time? Third?
Let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to look it up. Sorry. It's like fucking lagging.
We need the cold hard facts here. I may have written an article about it.
Here we go.
A while ago.
Gotcha. It's now Hogan isn't. Hogan is 3. It's San Martino and then Bob Backlund, which Bob Backlund held it for 2,135 days.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's not gonna crack the top 2. So.
No, but he could definitely beat Hogan.
Yeah.
I don't know though, bro, because he would need over a year. He's probably not going to beat Hogan. That would bring us to like SummerSlam next year.
Yeah.
I fucking hope not. Jesus
Good.
Christ. I mean, I got so much hate in my heart for Hulk Hogan, but I don't think I'd be willing to do that. To wait that long.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments. When do you think Roman's going to drop the title, and who do you think he's going to drop the title to? Because there's a lot of different ways that they could go about this. So that's going to wrap up the live stream. So be on the lookout for the Burning Hammer podcast. Next week, we've got our 50th anniversary episode coming out. And like I said, we talked about the top 5 Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time, and our lists may be a little bit spicy. So you can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast, or you can watch it on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And the best way to know when we release new episodes of the podcast, or to know when we're going live, or if you want to see more content, we do release a lot of content on social media. I just did a video on who should dethrone Gunther's Intercontinental title reign, so you can follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. You can follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer, and you can follow us at The Burning Hammer Podcast on everything else. And make sure to check out Vendetta Sports Media. Me and Dillon cover professional wrestling for them, and I'll give you a little sneak peek. I'm working on a feature piece on why the Bloodline story deserves an Emmy. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. You can follow Vendetta Sports Media on Twitter at VendettaVSM, and you can follow them at Vendetta Sports Media on everything else. And make sure to check out VendettaSportsMedia.com for all of your sports needs, plus TV, movies, gaming, you name it, they cover it. Head over to VendettaSportsMedia.com. That being said, that's going to wrap it up. We'll catch you on Monday at 11-ish Eastern Standard Time. Adios.
I bid you adieu.